We're all-
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I call to order the Orleans Parish School Board meeting for February 21st, 2019. Time is now 5:30 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Ashley?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Kleben? Mr. Koppel?
Present.
Ms. Newell-Houston?
Present.
Also present are Dr. Henderson Lewis Jr. and Sharonda Williams, Board Counsel. We have a
Excuse me.
quorum.
You forgot me.
Oh, Mr. Marshall. I'm so sorry.
Here.
Also present are Dr. Henderson Lewis Jr. and Sharonda Williams. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Just want to remind everyone that we have interpretation services are available. Where are they? Okay, go ahead. Okay, thank you very much. The pledge will be led by our district finalists for Students of the Year, Christopher Jaden Dodney of Ben Franklin Elementary, fifth grader. District finalist, where is he? Okay. Paris Celine Carney of Ben Franklin Elementary, eighth grade, district finalist. Tiana Kiara Murray, Mary McLeod Bethune Elementary, eighth grade, district finalist. And Nikisha Gonzalez of Warren Easton Charter High, 12th grade, district finalist. Please, everyone, please stand for the pledge. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, students. Give them another hand for their accomplishments. Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries. Item 2, approval of the minutes from regular board business meeting held on January 17, 2019. Are there any changes?
Move for adoption of the minutes and waive the reading of the minutes. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 3, superintendent's agenda.
Thank you, President Brown. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin my remarks by first of all saying thank you. Over the last month, I have visited schools and seen talented teachers and leaders engage in teaching and learning. I've listened to our students and parents during our advisory meeting. I've worked alongside with experienced educators and partners in our system. However, our engagement efforts are not complete. One of the district's goals is to increase public engagement and public confidence in the school system. In order to achieve this goal, it requires regular and ongoing engagement with our families. As your superintendent, I am committed to leading this engagement work, and this spring, I will have listening tours with other district officials throughout the city to hear your concerns. Together, we have faced many challenges, and together, we can come up with the solutions. I also want to share other notable events happening around our district. Several weeks ago, we had a successful attendance awareness campaign reaching thousands. We brought attention to truancy and chronic absenteeism in New Orleans public schools and really saw our community pull together to help us shed light on this topic. Recently released data reflect that 24% of our students in Orleans Parish were chronically absent, hindering student achievement and thereby affecting educational and economic outcomes for our students. We recognize in order to receive the best possible education, our students must be actively present in school each and every day. Another milestone achieved this month involved bus transportation, more specifically school bus safety. Earlier this month, we reached a breakthrough on bus safety for our kids. City Council members passed legislation that requires new regulations for school bus operators who serve the city's public schools. Under this new ordinance, drivers will have to go through the same background checks, drug tests, and annual vehicle inspection that the taxi and other for-hire drivers must adhere to. This is a huge win for our students and for their safety. Next, the district's credit rating increased from A+ to AA-. This is an increase from the middle of the ranking up one level to the positive end of the rating spectrum. This goes to the hard work we are doing behind the scene to be effective stewards of our taxpayers' dollars. At this time, I would like for Board Member Ethan Ashley to introduce a special group that we have sitting in the back of the room, which is our ULEAD Fellows. Mr. Ashley?
Thank you, Superintendent. So it is a pleasure to be able to acknowledge the leaders of the Urban Leaders for Equity and Diversity program that's ran by the Urban League of Louisiana. And I believe that they are represented by Dana Henry, who's here on their behalf. I believe he's leading the sled for them. And I see a couple of board members in here from the Urban League of Louisiana as well, Flozell Daniels, and I see former board members, and I'm just so glad that you all are here. I'm sure that you all know by now that the room is filled for a different reason. We're going to get to that. But I'm also very glad to be able to have these leaders who are here to really observe today. And at some point in time, perhaps relatively soon, find them at the mic talking about why they believe and what they believe in terms of moving our educational system forward on behalf of all young people. So if I can I get the U leaders to please stand? That would be really great to be able to recognize you all and your leadership on today. I know they didn't know I was going to make them stand, but don't they look nice? They look good today.
Yes,
they came
do.
out for a photo. Thank you, Superintendent. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Board Member Ashley. One additional announcement is I would like to make an announcement regarding school facilities for the upcoming school year. The Savannah Williams buildings will now host KIPP Central City Primary. It's a successful elementary school with amazing culture, while KIPP Central City Academy will return to Carter G. Wilson building. My staff recently visited KIPP Central City and saw all the good work they are doing at the school. The Edgar P. Honey School will host Corn High School for the 1920 school year while their new facility is being constructed. The Honey building will be used as swing space for school programs that are smaller but need temporary homes for emergencies during construction. And finally, in my report this evening, it's time to celebrate. This evening, we will honor and recognize both students and educators who have excelled with their achievement. We will start with our Students of the Year, and we will ask for our Director of Family Engagement, Ms. Kathy Tony Chase, to come to the podium at this time. Kathy?
Thank you. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Lewis, President John Brown, Vice President Leslie Ellison, board members, parents, families, and community. Once again, it gives me great pride and pleasure to honor and recognize our elementary, middle, and high school 2019 District Students of the Year. This special moment has been set aside to highlight them for their outstanding leadership, academic performance, achievements, citizenship, and service to their school and community. We know that it takes a village to raise exceptional children like these. With all due respect, we would like to acknowledge the student support systems. Would all parents, family members, school leaders, educators, and community supporters stand as each student's name is called? The Orleans Parish 2019 district finalist for 5th grade is Christopher Jaden Dobney, Benjamin Franklin Elementary Mathematics and Science School. Our district runner-up for 8th grade is Tiana Kiara Murray, Mary McLeod Bethune Elementary School of Literature and Technology. The Orleans Parish finalist for 8th grade is Paris Celine Corney, Benjamin Franklin Elementary Mathematics and Science School. The Orleans Parish District finalist for 12th grade is Nikaisha Gonzalez, Warren Easton Charter High School. Oh, your plaques. Chris, turn your bag around. Hello again. I now want to recognize Miss Renee Lewis Carter. Good evening. I am Kathy Tony Chase, Director of Family Engagement at the Orleans Parish School Board. I have the bittersweet duty of announcing that Renee Lewis Carter is moving on from the district. Renee Lewis Carter has been a pillar in New Orleans education for more than 27 years. She got her start as a classroom teacher, eventually being promoted to assistant principal and principal. Renee is the type of leader that others know they can count on during tough times. She was called to lead at Carter G. Woodson in 2001 after a tragic shooting. She was called to lead again at Martin Berman in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina in 2005. That school was among the first in the city to open after the storm and went on to a stunning performance record on state-mandated tests. In 2016, Renee was named Middle School Principal of the Year at Martin Berman. And shortly thereafter, promoted to CEO of Algiers Charter School Association. Most recently, Renee was called to lead as local control resumed as an OPBS Unification Advisory Committee member. She then joined OPSB during the summer as the chief of district-operated schools at the start of our first year of local control. She brought her skills, talents, and experience to this district and led during a very pivotal time. As I said, it is a bittersweet that Renee is now moving on, but her legacy lives on. Thank you, Renee. You have been an asset to this work and to this district. The value you've provided to our work is immeasurable. Your persistence and perseverance is what drives us forward. For that, we have something special for you, and thank you for joining us tonight. Renee Lewis Carter.
Can we all stand and celebrate Ms. Renee Lewis Carter?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leslie Ellison. I am the school board member representing District 4. And as a community, I would like all of those that are from Algiers, live in Algiers, to stand up. We want to honor this woman as our leader in Algiers. She's a phenomenal... Come on up. It's not every day that we get to honor someone. No, come up, sweetie. Come up. Come up here. It's not every day that we get to honor folks. And this is someone that I could call an educator, a friend, someone that many, 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 many people in this audience and those that are not even in this audience have actually had the honor of being in her presence. This is a woman a woman of integrity, a woman that loves children, regardless of who they are, regardless of their educational background, with whoever they are, she loves children, and she's proven herself. I always call her, and I still will call her, First Lady Carter. So I just want to honor her. We salute you. We love you. Thank you. And it is bittersweet that she's retiring at such a young age, but thank you and congratulations. And I think she wants to say something. You want to say something? You want to say something? Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
The car was supposed to be for my mommy, but I gave it to her.
That is so sweet. And this is a representation of the children from the district.
The card does say mom.
So you're a mother, educator, and all of that. So thank you. Thank you, sweetie.
And members of the board, we have several elected officials here this evening with proclamations for Ms. Lewis Carter.
Good evening, everyone. To the board and to Renee, thank you for allowing me to come and present this proclamation on behalf of Councilmember at Large Helena Moreno and the New Orleans City Council. We're still in council meeting as we speak, so, but I'm sure you're familiar with that. Yes. So, just on a personal note, I've known Renee for a long time. Our sons went to school together for a while, so this is very bittersweet. But on behalf of the City Council, be it proclaimed by the City of New Orleans that the Council recognizes Renee Lewis Carter for 27 years of service to public education and the children of New Orleans. Thank you for everything you have done for the children of this community.
This is indeed a great honor to be here today. Renee has been a lifelong childhood friend of mine. James is a very dear friend of mine, and their family has made incredible contributions to our community. Renee has been someone that has been a tireless advocate for children. She's given her heart, her soul, her time. She prepared herself academically, socially. She went out and she never came in. She is truly an example of what our young people can look forward to when they prepare and they work hard. These words are from the heart. I'm not reading from the proclamation because I know that everybody else is going to pretty much read the same thing, because history is history, and your history is well known. But I can say, as someone who's known you since a child, that you've always been driven, you've always cared, and I don't like to use the word retire because you're far too young for that. So we'll say reboot, to use a vernacular that's more popular and more common, that you'll reboot and move forward. And we know that there are lots of other incredible things from you, from your family, for the contributions that you've given and that you continue to give. I am pleased to present this resolution signed by me as a senator of District 7, resolving the fact that you have been an outstanding leader and someone that will always hail as an incredible role model. God bless you, and best wishes always.
Good evening, Renee. It's so good to be here. I have to also say that it is certainly bittersweet. I first met Renee back in 2006 when the gentleman to my left was serving on the city council and hired me to be his chief of staff. I was his first chief of staff, but I was just the formal chief of staff. I knew very early on who the real chief of staff was. And at that time, Bryce was really young. I think you might have been, I don't know, maybe 4, and you were usually running behind him, but now you're gonna be retired, you get to run behind him and keep him in check. Because somebody's gonna have to. But I have a commendation actually from our governor. Your credentials, we could stand up here all day and recite your credentials, but I'll just sum it up to say, from the moment that I've met you, you have always been the quintessential example of what we want to see and who we want to see leading our children. Someone who has the proper education, someone who has the proper dedication, and someone who is an absolute warrior for the best interests of our children. And you have not wavered, and I know that that came from within. So this retirement will never leave you. You're never going to leave these children, and I have a feeling that you're going to find your way back to dealing with being with our children some kind of way. So I'll just read the last clause in this commendation from the governor. Now, therefore, I, John Bell Edwards, governor of the state of Louisiana, do hereby commend Renee Lewis Carter, recognizing her extraordinary, and lasting contributions after 27 years of dedicated service to the field of education in the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. Governor John Bell Edwards, congratulations, and we wish you all the best.
just a piece of history that was left out as they were reading it. Just before, a year or so before Katrina, just before I retired, Renee replaced me at Harriet Tubman Elementary School as the principal. They were not, you may not be aware of that. Now, I see some of the people here who were there as teachers. Miss Regas, where did I see Miss Regas? Yeah, Miss Regas in the back. I said, where's Phaedra? Phaedra's here? Okay, Phaedra. And Mr. Young, the forever Mr. Young. Forever young Mr. Young. Other teachers who have associated with Renee. Please raise your hands, stand wherever you are. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Carol Lang, principal in the West Bank, many years with us as well. And thank you all for coming. I'd like to also mention a piece of history well before Renee, and this was her husband, who was known back then as Jerome, okay? His mother's here. I didn't see her. And his dad. Where's his dad? His dad is there as well. Let's give a hand for the families, James Jerome was about 8 years old, and I'd pick him up every day and bring him to the park, and we'd coach him basketball. He and another young man that lived right in the neighborhood. So I've been knowing him for a while. Coach Brown. But his son I've been waiting to see for some time. He's much bigger than I ever imagined. I'm still looking for this little boy. But anyway, just the work that Renee has done has been just beyond. You know, anyone could have expected the work that she's done everywhere. She was at Harriet Tubman, Katrina hit, and they moved over to Berman. And she just did outstanding work for so many years. And so we're just so proud of her and so proud of her family. And so we thank all of you who've done all of that great work. Congratulations again, and good luck to you.
And yes, and I do know we had some other presentations, but before we do the additional presentation, I would like to just have a few words to say about Ms. Carter. You heard a lot tonight, but even as we think of, and Mr. Brown talked about after Katrina and all those things there, when the city was trying to rebuild and reopen school, it was Ms. Carter and a few educators actually, in my mind, reestablished public education here in the city of New Orleans. Brought people together, found people who were scattered from around the city to get back in the classroom and to educate the students so that the parents could rebuild their lives and rebuild their homes. And as it was said today, this is over 27 years of dedicated service to students. Not to adults, to students. And when I say students, yes, she took care of all of her employees, but it was always every single day thinking about and making sure it was about the students. If you ever attended Berman and walked through the building, you saw Ms. Carter in there and she had her aprons on. She had a whole, I don't know how many she had in the building, but every time you go, it was a different one. And so she mentored so many of us. And I see Mr. Young, who also was the principal of the school, and many others that actually grew up under her leadership. And so this is a very bittersweet moment, but we do know and we do celebrate you as you go into the next chapter of your life. Spending time with your family. We know Bryce will be graduating from high school next year, and the list goes on and on. And so we salute you today, we congratulate you, and we do know that we have to, if we recognize you, we have to recognize Bryce and Mr. James Carter today. So we're gonna ask you to come up because we know if it's 27 years of service, there was a lot of juggling in the home, a lot of sacrifice being made to make sure that you were able to take care of the students and the family that you were entrusted to serve for so many years. And at this time, I'll turn it back over to, where's Ms. Aiken, who will call the additional individuals who are here, or Ms. Kathy Tony Chase, if you'll go ahead and do those recognitions.
Yeah, they want to. I now would like to recognize remarks by Ms. Renee Lewis Carter.
Good evening. In moments like this, the first thing my parents, Pearl Lewis and the late Reverend Robert B. Lewis Jr., who were both educators for more than 35 years, taught me to say with one strong voice, thank you. My thanks also extend to all of the wonderful students I had the honor to serve, the extraordinary educators, administrators, and staff I have had the pleasure to work with over the course of 27 years. Of course, my family, friends, and especially my mother, who is here, my husband, James Carter, and the great Bryce Carter. Though I am moving on, rest assured that no matter where I am in the world, I will be rooting for and advocating in the best interests of children. Over the course of my career, the one thing that I held paramount to continue and continue to hold paramount today is that all children, without regard to race, creed, color, or station, deserve superior exposures, high-quality experiences, and global opportunities. I wish you well as you continue to fight for high academic achievement and provide critical resources to families. With that said, may God bless you and keep you. Thank you.
Ms. Carter, don't go too far. We have, we become 1-800-Flowers in here for you. So we have several presentations from several people who have sent flowers.
One more time for Renee. Thank you all so much.
Everyone, let's give Miss Renee Lewis Carter one more round of applause for 27 years of dedicated service to the students and families of this great city of New Orleans.
Now I would like to recognize Ms. Kathy Rodlinger. Kathy has spent her career building a legacy of student excellence and as a leading voice for urban arts education at Lusher and continues to impact lives through her leadership at Lusher. She also got a start as a teacher, but much of her impact has been realized at Lusher. She began as principal in 1981 and immediately worked to improve its academic performance, school ranking, and African American representation in gifted programs at the school. Hurricane Katrina was a major challenge for all schools, and Lusher was no exception. Undaunted by these challenges, Ms. Rodlinger quickly mobilized the Lusher community, realizing the importance of school-community partnerships. Working closely with local and international partners, such as Tulane University, Ms. Rodlinger reopened Lusher's doors to students in January 2006. and Lusher became the first school to have a post-Katrina charter approved by the local school board. In just a few short months, she raised over $3 million in private donations to renovate and open a high school campus and build a state-of-the-art performing arts center at the original Lower School campus. She was instrumental in founding and then elected president of the East Bank Collaborative of Charter Schools, now known as the Greater New Orleans Collaborative of Charter Schools. This organization mentored other local educators to reopen schools as locally run charter schools at a time when the public school board was incapacitated and unable to open the school district. At the end of 2018, the United States Department of Education presented Kathy Reitlinger with a Lifetime Achievement Award for her long-term leadership in transforming local public school. Reitlinger is the only school leader given the Bell Lifetime Achievement Award, a designation given by her peers at the national and local level. Reitlinger, who became principal at Lusher Charter School in 1981, now directs the largest charter school in Orleans Parish, serving more than 1,800 students in grades K through 12 at 2 campuses in Uptown New Orleans. Reitlinger is the longest continually serving principal currently employed in a public school in Orleans Parish. Thank you, Kathy. You have been an asset to this work and to this school district. For that, we have something special for you, and thank you for joining us tonight. Now we'll hear a few words from Ms. Reitlinger.
Thank you. I certainly wasn't expecting such a lovely tribute. When I look around the room and I see other people that I have worked with for many years, It is really an honor to be here tonight when you all are honoring Renee, when you're honoring Renee Carter. And very, very special to be a part of that celebration. I would like to recognize, I see members of my team who are here that have worked with me for years, everything from before the storm, after the storm, moving into the high school building and creating this program. I really owe to them. Would you all please stand?
Yeah, please stand.
I of course see, people like Ken and Michelle and Lee that I work so hard with the collaborative. Would you all please stand and thank you for all of your work? And how could I possibly forget my rock and support Dr. Michael Cowan, my husband. While I am so honored to be here tonight with Renee as she is retiring, I jokingly told Dr. Lewis, who was kind enough to come with me to Washington, D.C. To get this award, that I am thrilled for Renee's moving on, retirement. I love this Lifetime Achievement Award. It means more to me than anything I have received, and certainly grateful that it came from the National Association of Secondary School Principals, the National Middle School Association, and the National Association of Elementary School Principals. Could not have been more of an honor to me. But I don't want y'all to confuse Lifetime Leadership Award with retirement, okay? I just had to say that. I told Dr. Lewis that when I walked into his office. But thank you so much. Grateful, grateful, grateful is what I am to have worked in this city with these children, with all of you, and providing the very best we can in public education in New Orleans. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Ms. Rodlinger, for all of your work and dedication and for the work that you do day in and day out for the students and the families that you serve. At this time, we'll yield to Kate for a presentation from Youth Force NOLA, who has also been a great partner here in the city of New Orleans as we are working with our high school and middle school students to make sure that they are not only prepared for college, but they're also prepared for life and career. Kate Weinberg.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Greetings, board members. So glad to be here tonight. I think we're going to watch a video to start us off. Yes. So I'll just introduce the video really quickly. In late January, we were thrilled to co-host the inaugural Discover STEM Careers Day with Junior Achievement and Delgado Community College. We did it on the Delgado Community College City Park campus. We also partnered with STEM NOLA, Core Element, and Ochsner Health System, along with others, to bring 8th graders from a set of schools from across the city to really get hands-on experience with a set of STEM careers, as well as be toured by high school students and representatives from a set of our high schools, so that the 8th graders could be thinking both about some of their career interests and how they might pursue some of those career interests as they go on to high school. So we have a quick video. I'm looking for like a nod. We have a quick video just to see some of the highlights from that Discover STEM Careers Day. Here it comes. While we're waiting, I'll just start with some of my remarks. I know we're tight on time. I'm so glad to be back here with you all. It's been 3.5 years since we founded the Youth Force NOLA Collaborative. We set out at that point in mid-2015 to build a citywide ecosystem and really pursue an effort to build bridges for our young people from school to jobs that could lead them to economic prosperity. I'm excited to update you just on a couple of things in addition to the Discover STEM Careers Day. First, just as a reminder, Youth Force NOLA is very much a collaborative effort. While there are a set of really talented folks with Youth Force NOLA email addresses that work for the backbone organization, and they are all in the back corner, so I'm excited that they're here tonight, many of them. I'm also really proud of the collaborative network and all the folks that we work with, including Orleans Parish School Board, the New Orleans Career Center, the Urban League of Louisiana, and I know Dana was here tonight.
College today for Junior Achievement and Youth Force NOLA Discover STEM Careers Day. Research has shown that many students opt out of these STEM careers even before they leave middle school. And so today's event is focusing middle school students on experiencing activities related to those careers, which is part of a broader effort that we are helping students identify their interests in these STEM careers, expose them, and then let them know which high schools in the area are offering programs.
So far, I've really learned a lot about the human body and how they use x-rays to figure out like what parts of your body is broken or where the pain is and where it's coming from.
I think it's important to start looking at careers now because if you wait too long, then maybe you wouldn't know what you want to do. And you can start thinking now because you're at a young age, and it'll probably be fun for you just to explore and try to see what you like to do.
Now I'm leaning back and forth from an artist towards being a person to check on babies and be a doctor.
I think exposure is key for all young people. Because the classic saying, we don't know what we don't know. And so I think many times young people don't understand what careers are available to them. This gives us an opportunity to introduce them to those careers that are both high wage and high growth right here in our area, but also bring some relevancy to the things that they're learning inside of their classrooms.
Great. So again, and just a big thank you to Delgado Community College and Junior Achievement for their partnership on delivering that day. We wanted to pilot it this year, so we had 7 middle schools attending, and we're thrilled that next year we'll get to expand. We're hoping to really, at some point, be reaching all 8th graders across the city. We have to figure out how we move 3,500 children over the course of a day. So we're probably going to do multiple Discover STEM Careers Days. In addition to that, just continuing where I left off on my talking points, really pleased with our partnership with Orleans Parish School Board. Have continued to really collaborate both in terms of the ways that we support schools, thinking about policy and accountability implications to the work, and overall just really helping engage a broader network of stakeholders in this collaborative effort. We have been focused to date, as I've told you all before, we've got 3 major areas for goals that we focus on, and really this is about helping our students develop skills in those areas needed for career in addition to academic skills. So we have prioritized technical skill development, soft skill development, and the application of those skills out in the real world. And so we've seen a lot of progress. We exceeded our goals for students, seniors in the class of 2018, earning industry recognized credentials. We're on track for the class of 2019 to blow our goal out of the water. We believe we're going to have far more than 400 seniors earn industry recognized credentials this year. Additionally, we're going to have more than 250 members of the class of 2019 participate in meaningful work experience, real hands-on, skill-infused work across the city. And it's a real testament to our students' talent and also a real testament to the collaborative effort that we've been engineering. In addition to the Discover STEM Career Day, there's just a couple of things I want to put on your radar, and this is my first invitation to you all, but be ready for the email, please. Next month in March, we'll have the 3rd annual citywide Career Expo at the Lakefront Arena. This is when we bring freshmen from high schools across the city, hands-on experiencing of our high-wage careers, including a station with surgical saws. That's always my that's the sort of the scariest station to me. But please, I invite you all to join us for that day and spend some time with our high school students as they get to try on the different careers. Additionally, applications are now open for Youth Force internships. We are recruiting across the city. Applications close on March 20th. I think on the whiteboard at the office today, I saw that we have 650 open applications from students across the city, and 102 students have actually gone through and completed the entire application. So I think it's going to be a competitive process. We're looking to accept about 300 students this time, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be competitive, and then overall, we'll continue to take students on site visits and really experience careers hands-on through our partnership with JA and the Employer Hub. I know we had a set of students today at the Carpenters Union and a set of students yesterday at Capital One. So it's been a really growing, thriving effort to get our students to really experience career and think critically about what they want to do. I thank you all for having me. I don't know if there's time for questions or if there are questions.
Any questions or comments from board members?
Just one. If someone wanted to support financially the efforts that you all are doing, how would they do that?
Thank you, Board Member Ashley. That's a great question. We can be reached through the website, so youthforcenola.org. At this point, we're still working to set up our online giving possibilities, but there are ways to contact both me directly via the website or through our general email address.
I just want to take this opportunity on behalf of this board, but also on behalf of our parents and our students to thank you. They also mentioned Junior Achievement in Delgado and all of those who are participating. This is so exciting. We have a career education center that's going on, and along with what you all are doing, if you have not taken a look at what's going on with this organization and with our Career Education Center right now, it's super exciting to know. So you need to take a look and see what's going on in Orleans Parish Schools. It's really, really exciting. But thank you so much for the work that you do and for all of those who support you on behalf of us. Thank you.
Thank you, President Brown.
Now, I just want to echo the same comments from Board President Brown, and also mention that even though it's February, before you know it'll be the summertime, and our rising seniors will be participating in internships across the city of New Orleans this summer, which is another opportunity of the partnership. There are so many local businesses that actually partner with Youth Force NOLA to give our students real life experience by having them on the job during the summer, earning money as well, and learning to really even decide this is something that they want to do in life. So we also, in this moment, want to thank all those community partners and businesses that are supporting these efforts for all of our kids in the city of New Orleans. And thank you all and Youth Force NOLA for everything that you all do on behalf of our students.
And
Thank you so
if
much.
folks want to host an intern, they can also reach us through our website. Yes. Thank you for the reminder, Superintendent Lewis.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Excellent report. Moving on to our items, action items. I yield to the Board Counsel to read the items and recommendations.
Action item 4.1, it's recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approves the committee appointments as recommended by the Board President.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Did we get a second?
Second.
We do have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Action item 4.2, it is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve the operating agreement between the Orleans Parish School Board and Hines Charter School Corporation for the operation of Edward Hines UNO Charter School effective July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Good evening, members of the board. We just wanted to bring forth some more information about these action items. So the administration is enthusiastic about the Hines application for replication and their partnership with UNO, as Hines is one of our most on-demand and highly performing schools in the city. The new school will serve students in a broader geographic catchment zone that among it has a higher percentage of African Americans than the citywide average and a similar rate of individuals below the poverty level. We appreciate them for expanding expanding their access. As you see, the current school sits in 70124, where that zip code only has students who has less than 15% for African Americans. This represents a strong commitment to not only diversity but innovation, and we believe that over time it will result in a strong partnership with the university's education school to allow our students to benefit from the best new practices in education. We also appreciate UNO's commitment to providing the land for this new school. By being in such close proximity, partnerships beyond the College of Education are endless. We both appreciate, again, Hines and UNO for working for over a year and a half on this partnership, and especially for UNO providing the precious land. While the law allows for up to 50% preference and is irrespective of parish, the preference requested only applies to 15% of the seats. The priority percentages will work as follows. Up to 15% for UNO, up to 25% will be reserved for families within a half mile, 25% for families in the geographic zone, and the remaining seats, including any unused UNO seats, will be available for all New Orleans applicants.
I had a motion in a second.
We do have a motion and a second.
And we have several comment cards. Michelle Douglas.
Okay.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Lewis. My name is Michelle Douglas. I'm the CEO of Hines Charter School. For over 13 years, we've been very diligently working on a model which we're now ready to replicate. We are focused extremely on the practices that we have within our school and to build community and to build relationships with our stakeholders. I look forward to taking this matter further. Your vote tonight would give us the opportunity to be one step closer to finalizing those plans with UNO, and would bring us on to the next phase of identifying which piece of property on campus that we could build the new school on for 900 students. I do want you to know that overall, Hines Charter School has an impact goal of over creating 2,400 seats in total. We currently serve 714 students at our original school site. This new one would have seats for 900, and we'd actually like to have a third school within maybe the same area, and are open to other types of partnerships such as this to make it happen. So thank you.
Next, Emma Maxwell. Just a reminder to say your name and address as you approach the microphone, please.
Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Emma Maxwell. I currently live at 31 McAllister Drive, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70118. My statements, concerns, and inquiries do not surround the particular agreement towards the partnership between UNO and Hines Charter School. My concerns surround the necessity for these partnerships to exist in the first place. With regards to an equal opportunity for every school to be funded correctly, to service everybody, including the working class students. Coming from a student myself who came from a charter system in Los Angeles, California, I had access to a school that was mediocre. My mom had to work 2 jobs, work day and night. I had to work to pay me enough transportation costs to send me to a school over 10 miles away, with 2 swimming pools that we do not need. And I have a dear friend who came with me to Tulane and had to drop out because the first time she ever saw a microscope in her entire life after going to public school was at Tulane University, and she did not know how to do science the way I did because I had to reach farther to get the schools to an education. I believe strongly towards coalition buildings, not just partnerships, but a collaborative and a collective and an inclusive work towards a system that benefits everybody. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Next, Ann Kramer.
Thank you. Good evening, board members and Superintendent Lewis. My name is Ann Kramer, 1501 Leda Court, New Orleans, 70119. I am the instructional supervisor at Hines Charter School, and tonight I am delighted to speak on behalf of our staff and teachers, part of who you see here, part are at skate night, and part of our faculty and staff are at our National Junior Honor Society induction this evening. I'm asking that you approve this partnership, which gives us an opportunity to do what we do and serve quality seats to more students in the greater New Orleans area. What we do is so important. We have been working on this, codifying our processes, doing self-studies and self-reflection about what we do each and every day so that we can provide this to more students than what we have right now. You know, every day we greet students and we can see the backpacks that they carry. What we don't see sometimes is an invisible backpack that they carry with them. Some students have these backpacks that are very heavy. I had a privilege to work with a group of students whose invisible backpacks are weighing them down. In talking with these students about how we can help them academically, social, emotionally succeed. These are new students to Hines, middle school students, and working with them in their schedules to help them in their math classes, get them where they need to be. One of the students turned around and said, "Mrs. Kramer, if I could turn back time, this is where I want my mom to send me." That is why we need your approval to help us do what we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Andre Varnado.
Good evening. My name is Andre Varnado, 6549 Wells Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70126. I stand before you as an employee of the University of New Orleans, as well as a parent who has an up-and-coming kindergartner, and I fully support this partnership. We at the university are really excited about what's to come. As a former part of the education department and having graduated from those programs, I know that UNO's education department can definitely help and benefit these students. As a parent, I am extremely excited about my child attending this school, and I am so ready for him to be there. As a single parent, I want him in close proximity. And so it helps me working at the university along with other members of the UNO community to have a school on campus or near campus where we can be there to support our children in all aspects. So I ask that you please support and approve this charter and the percentages that have been presented in order to allow students and the UNO community to help students achieve. Thank you.
Next, Wanda Romaine, and after Ms. Romaine, Diane Friedman.
Good evening, I'm Wanda Romaine, 4459 Woodland Drive, Algiers 70131. I'm sure that you, as the board and in partnership with UNO, are very proud of this end result of all the time, the energy, the discussions, and the dedication to providing a high-quality education for our city's kids. This new school should inspire the scholars to achieve that OPSB mission so prominently displayed on your website. I'm sure that when you ask the question, Cassidy and Ingrid, the Hines students should say, "Oh, it's wonderful." Oh, Cassidy and Inga means how are the children. So it's got to be nice that those kids get such a gift of a school bestowed on them by the school board. So can we expect you to launch similar ventures with other colleges in New Orleans, especially the HBCUs who could collaborate with other schools like Harney, Nelson, and McDonough 35? Because in my opinion, OPSB should be launching more of these initiatives with all the colleges of the cities, so that all our kids can acquire a top-notch education, because all students in all zip codes have that right. And if it sounds like I'm unsatisfied, well, But I cannot applaud this venture knowing that this board has not really supported the needs of students in less financially affluent zip codes. As a voter and an educator, I expect in the very near future to hear news that you have reached out to the governing boards of all colleges to launch new schools as you've done with Hinds and UNO, and give those families generous admissions policies so that their neighborhood schools are enhanced. Give all of our children a chance to answer Kasarine Ingara with wonderful. And since you all like replicating success, I'm almost done. I can't wait to see you replicate this new one for our whole city. Thank you.
Next, Diane Friedman. After Ms. Friedman, Lona Hankins.
Good evening. My name is Diane Friedman, and I live at 734 Florida Boulevard in New Orleans, 70124. As a 35-year resident of New Orleans who attended Orleans Parish Public Schools from kindergarten through 12th grade, a member of the OPSB Parent Advisory Council, and a parent of 3 children currently enrolled in the New Orleans public school system, I am both committed to and dependent on the success of the system. In prioritizing some enrollment spots for neighborhood families, schools help foster a sense of belonging and cooperation, increasing family involvement and student success. By partnering with the University of New Orleans, Hinds Charter School establishes a relationship with the university and its employees that fosters this same valuable sense of cooperation. In addition, this partnership is a wonderful educational opportunity for students, faculty, and staff at both Hinds and UNO. Thank you for your, I'm excited about this partnership, and I believe it is a positive step forward for public education in New Orleans. Thank you for your consideration, and I appreciate all that you and everyone in the New Orleans public school system do for the children of New Orleans.
Thanks. Next, Lona Hankins. And after Ms. Hankins, Ashana Bagard.
Good evening. Lona Edwards Hankins, 3704 Magazine Street, 70115. When I look at your agreement, what's been written and what's been published, there's no mention of these neighborhood geographic preference. I know y'all mentioned it in your committee meeting, and I know she mentioned it here tonight, but it's not in the written document. The only thing that is in the written document is this 15%. So I strongly encourage you guys, since we're revisiting this whole written document, to let's revisit it even further, right? So the first 30% should be reserved at this school, and any selective admission school should be reserved for free and reduced lunch kids. Those are our most needed kids, so those seats should go first. Then if you want to do this UNO set aside, go for it. Then if you want to do the neighborhood set aside, go for it. But that needs to be in writing because we know charters hide behind the written contract. Additionally, I'm trying to understand what we, the citizens of New Orleans, really get out of this deal. Because the land that UNO is giving up, we don't need another school there. Your people should look at the demographic analysis. You have Alexander, you have Ash or Bienville, you have the new KIP, all of that paid for with public dollars. We don't need another public school in this proximity. And all of those schools, with the exception of maybe the KIP school, is within half a mile. So I'm not sure what we get out of this deal.
Ashana Bagard, and following Ms. Bagard, Aretha Lewis.
Hi, Ashana Bagard, 1840 St. Thomas. So I guess I'm here. I toured the existing school. It was beautiful. It was incredible. They had 2 different yards. They had a bicycle path, free lunch, free breakfast, a hot and cold bar. It was absolutely beautiful. What I don't trust at this point, and nor should you, is Hinds' ability to not discriminate against poor and African-American children. So what I have seen from selective admission schools is that their ratio does not match the demographic of public school students in this city. We have 85% African-American public school students. We have 87% free and reduced lunch public school students. But when I look at the demographic of Hinds, Lusher, and our top 6 schools, more than half of their enrolled population
is white Caucasian, and more than half is not free and reduced lunch. So what I have noticed is our top schools, one of the things they're best at is discriminating against Black children and poor children. And until there's a way to fix that, I don't think you should reward people for discrimination. So when they decide to fix that, then they should be given another school, when our children actually have equal access. So that is what I feel. But if you want to continue to reward people for discrimination, by all means. Thank you.
Just a point of clarity, for the current Hines School and this future school, our schools do not control their enrollment. We can actually run that process, and so they get the students that are selected through our common enrollment system. Just want to give a point of clarity.
Aretha Lewis.
So if that is true, then there's something wrong with the common enrollment system, because you're going to tell me that Black poor parents don't want good seats? Is that what you're really expecting me to believe? You know that's not true. So something is flawed, something is broken, so we need to fix it. And until we get it fixed, we don't need to be creating new schools.
Aretha Lewis.
Good afternoon. I was able to attend the tour with Ashana, and her comment is basically exactly what I wanted to say, but I want to expound upon it because the exact numbers are that there are 46,178 students in Orleans Public Schools right now. Only 3,316 of them are Caucasian. And yet we were able to walk through Hines, and I promise you, I thought I only saw 2 or 3 Black faces, and we visited at least 3 or 4 classrooms. There is no way that you have a school in this city that's predominantly African American, and then you have a top quality school that you just said the unused seats will go to other children. What unused seats when everybody's trying to get a quality school for their child? And then I was emotional walking up here because I was able to see a student that I taught in 2nd grade and 3rd grade who is will be a brilliant scientist in the future. He would love to have access to a school like that and can't even imagine being in a learning environment such as that. And so I want to reference a quote that you made last night, Mr. Henderson Lewis, when you said we need to be careful of how we criticize children. I know myself and nobody else that I associate or work with has ever criticized children. We constantly criticize the system. What we need to be more careful with is how we discard poor Black children in this city. That's the thing we need to be more careful with because they actually are children, like you said.
The final speaker is Kevin Griffin, maybe? Griffin? Okay.
How y'all doing? Kevin Griffin, P.O. Box 820-353, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70128. It's funny how some people, Ms. Pichon said that people come to these meetings with their own agendas. So instead of sticking to what's on the agenda, so I'll stick to this. I was also one of those people one of the people that went to Hines, and I saw the exact same thing. It's also funny that UNO is very excited to be a part of this school system, which we know will have a bunch of privileged white children in it that will not have the children from Nelson Elementary that was failed, that our superintendent promised that they will have priority with one of the next schools but when UNO had CAPDO and all of the other charter schools that were failing, they weren't too excited. One of my main things I will employ to 2 of the people up there. A few of you I do not know. A few people up there, I'll mention this. I know Ethan's gonna go for it. I don't expect him to run for children because when he was working at JGPL, he wasn't doing all that great job of working with children that were incarcerated anyway. But who I will talk to is Mr. John Brown, who I found out was a principal for my mom. Who's an educator, and also Ms. Ellison, who I know outside of here. I implore you and I ask you to deny this until they handle what is appropriate for our children that are not a full mile away. Because it would be so nice for the parents that work in that area, that live in that area, that are from the area where I'm from, the St. Bernard Housing Development, the St. Bernard Projects, 3820 Gibson Street, to be so convenienced as the UNO professors who make a great wage and who can bring their child wherever the hell they want. But the parents and the teacher, the parents in the community that live in their area have to bus their children 90 minutes each way.
Thank you. That's the final speaker.
Okay, thank you. We have had a motion, and we do have a second. Ready for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Any opposition? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Hello?
4.3.
Okay, thanks. Action item 4.3. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board grants IDEA Public Schools NOLA an extension to begin operations on the second charter approved by the Orleans Parish School Board on May 18, 2017 to first serve students by the 2020 to 2021 school year. Such extension shall include district review of the operator's pre-opening plan, including any material changes in the applicant team. In the case of a material change in the applicant team, the district will conduct further due diligence and may reconsider the application.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
And just to give more information, IDEA was approved for 2 charters in 2017, as Sharonda stated. One will be opening for the 1920 school year. This is the extension of the second charter to open for the 2021 school year.
Okay, thank you.
We have several comment cards. Natalie Clark. Natalie Clark.
Natalie Clark, 8326 Nelson Street, 70118, New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm not here tonight to appeal to the morals of the board members. If they had any, they wouldn't have stayed month after month stony-faced while brave parents, educators, and students shared the ways in which the charter experiment negatively impacted their lives. They have showed us time and time again that they're bought by the billionaires who are invested in the privatization of Orleans Parish schools after the storm. I am here on behalf of the New Orleans Hospitality Workers Alliance, which I'm a member of, to remind you that you work for us. We see what you are doing. When you invest public taxpayer money in schools that are run like corporations, when you approve charters and close schools left and right, when you allow schools to criminalize children who can't afford the overpriced uniforms, you are funneling working class black and brown children into prisons or exploitative underpaid jobs. The 100,000 hospitality workers in this city work clopenings week after week. Many of us do not have insurance, paid sick leave, maternity leave. Many of us are products of school systems that do not teach us our value, that do not instill in us the knowledge that we deserve better, that teach us only compliance and obedience, that ensure that we will not fight our exploitation, that business as usual will continue in spite of injustice. That is why we, the New Orleans Hospitality Workers Alliance, stand with the students, parents, workers, and educators who have been fighting for education justice since before I was born. That is why we say erase the board. Thank you very much.
Lona Hankins, followed by following Ms. Hankins, Aretha Lewis.
I want to applaud IDEA's efforts for starting a school at K through 5 as opposed to 1 grade at a time. You guys mentioned in the past that your methodology to getting children out of mediocre and failing schools was to open new schools. Well, the kids who really need the help are the older kids. Starting a school in kindergarten doesn't do anything for that child who's been neglected or underserved for so many years. Additionally, I think you guys should take this time to really take a look at succession plans by your charters. Many of your charters are currently either looking for a CEO, their CEOs are about to, Ms. Rattling was just here. How much longer is she's gonna be around? You have an issue with the aging out of your CEOs or the high turnover. You have two CEOs that have already announced that the search is underway. That needs to be something that this board critically looks at as it relates to your charters. You know yourself, it took about 18 to 24 months to even find your superintendent. That issue is real. You need a leadership pipeline, and you need to be holding the charters accountable and their boards accountable because of the stability issue. And then, that's it.
Aretha Lewis, and following Ms. Lewis, Kevin Griffin.
My comment for the idea of public school, the charter approval or not to approve it, is that one, IDEA has not even proven themselves. So I don't see why, with the current state of education in New Orleans, why we would be approving yet another charter. Another thing is, piggybacking off of what Ms. Hankins just said in reference to Ms. Riedlinger, that's the person I want to talk about. I don't personally believe Ms. Riedlinger has done anything innovative, especially in urban education, if we're just going to be honest. But I don't think she's done anything innovative with a 30-year career, and there's only that one school or that one, charter that she can, if she was that innovative after 30 years, this entire school district should look like Lusher. And I don't believe that with approving a school like IDEA, when we already have all these flawed charters in this city, we shouldn't take a page from the #1 rated public school district in the country, which is Massachusetts, who has a moratorium on their charters. It's time to cap this, fix the leaky faucet, and then you can approve charters once everybody else is in a quality seat.
Kevin Griffin? Kevin Griffin. Okay, then Ashana Bagard.
Ashana Bigar, 1840 St. Thomas. So you would think after all these years I wouldn't get emotional, but I just did, because I'm really tired of us failing children. I'm really tired because we know better. I mean, what I'm appealing to is common sense and common decency. NAACP called for a moratorium on charters. Black Lives Matter called for a moratorium on charters. We are a majority black city. The reason they call for a moratorium on charters is because they're not good for black children. And yet we keep approving charters. And guess what? IDEA has a school in Baton Rouge that is not doing well. So the fact that we keep giving our children trash, and that's what we're giving them, because none of you would send your children to that school. We keep giving them the lowest, the least of, subpar educations. And then we wonder why crime is high. And you guys never answer questions, which is also a problem. So if I ask you a question, just to be respectful, you should answer. Would you send your child to IDEA? Any of you, please tell me. No, I'm asking them because I want to know, am I not speaking English? So the point is, can we please stop giving the children of New Orleans things we would not do for our children, our grandchildren, nieces and nephews, friends or neighbors? IDEA's not doing well in Baton Rouge. Why would you approve a charter for them to not serve the children of New Orleans badly? Is it that you don't like us? I don't understand. I'm frustrated. But anyway, y'all do what y'all do.
That was the final comment on that item.
Thank you. We do have a motion, and we do have a second. All in favor? Aye. Do we have any opposition? Hearing none. Motion carries.
Action item 4.4, it is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approves Resolution 4-19, a resolution declaring exceptional circumstances at Edgar P. Harney Elementary School that justify an expenditure from the general fund balance reserve for the purpose of investing in student learning priorities and facilities, efficient and effective academic programs, and learning environments. And 2, to approving such expenditure in an amount not to exceed $754,236.50 to address said exceptional circumstances through the remainder of the 2018-19 fiscal year.
So moved. I'll second with the waiving of the reading of the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, waiving the reading. Go ahead.
Eric.
You have
Just wanted to make everyone aware and reiterate what we discussed at our committee meeting Tuesday. This amount of money is related to the mid-year surrender of Harney. Again, a little over $400,000 of that is related to federal programs funding that we are unable to access with LEA technicality of transfer to transfer, as well as an additional $300,000 above and beyond the per pupil allocation from state and local. So this will cover a total of the per pupil allocation, which has already been blessed, federal programs funding, and an additional amount to provide the necessary resources for that school.
Okay.
Public comment cards. Wanda Romaine is our first speaker. Ms. Romaine, after Ms. Romaine will be Armtrees Coward.
First, I'm going to start off with a rare instance. It's a semi-apology to the board because on Tuesday, apparently I misunderstood just a little bit of what you all were saying, and I responded as if I were attacking you when I just wanted to let y'all know that when these children were told that their school was being changed with management, what they weren't told was that it wasn't set, it wasn't in stone, and that's not for children to bear. Was for children to bear is to learn how to read, write, comprehend, things like that, while the adults figure out how to do all the business. Having said that, though, a question was raised about should this ever happen again. Y'all would not want this to happen again because this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. I worked at Harney for all of 4 months. And it hurts me that I'm not there, but that's my personal thing. We have got to do better by our kids, even if you all have made the decision to transfer them to other schools, to schools that they can't go to, or schools that's going to take them forever to get there. But not only should that budget have been approved quicker than it has been, I would hope that whenever these charters seem to have these special circumstances, that y'all move even faster, because I've seen y'all move with lightning quick speed on emergency items for more financially affluent zip codes. I'm trying to have just enough calm to end this nicely. But with my 10 seconds left, I'm just saying, I'm glad these elections are coming up in 2020. Thank you.
Armtrees Coward. Following Ms. Coward, Ashana Bagard.
That wasn't him said that. Armtrees Coward, 3016 Music Street, 70122. Good evening. In your discussion of Harney, you guys, in the committee meeting, you guys mentioned having to come up with a plan to make taking over schools mid-year easier. Well, I demand that instead of you creating a plan that anticipate constant instability, stop approving charters until you come up with a plan to deal with all of the failing charters you have in the school, in this system, by way of taking the low C, D, and F schools into an improvement plan that if they don't improve, you guys take them over, not give them to another charter. Okay, we, the activists for the kids, have been called, you guys, opposition. Now, this is what I've been telling you guys. All of your pro-charter citizens are beginning their campaign against you. They blaming everything that's happening on the charters on Orleans Parish School Board. Peter Cook isn't blaming the CMOs, y'all. He blaming you. He ain't blaming you. He blaming you. He blaming you. He blaming you. I don't know. He might not be blaming you, but he blaming you. You know which ones I pointed to. Okay? So, instead of talking about calling us loud activists and fighting against us, because all we're fighting for is the kids, you guys. And we're fighting for your rights to run schools. We're fighting for your constitutional right to get your constitutional rights back to run schools. So instead of saying we're your opposition, how about you guys join us in this fight? Which one of you guys are willing to join a lawsuit with us to sue that Act 91 is unconstitutional because when they took over the schools and stole them, they stole them from you. They said y'all wasn't capable and then they stole your powers. So instead of y'all saying we're fighting you, we're not fighting you. We're fighting for your right to decide for the citizens that vote for you so that you can decide what's right. Which one of y'all gonna join this lawsuit with us?
Thank you. That's your
Because
time.
if you're not gonna join the
Next,
lawsuit, that means you
Begard.
acknowledging that you are the opposition because you don't want to do your job.
Ms. Begard. Following Ms. Begard, Aretha Lewis. Okay, after Dr. Wyatt, then Aretha Lewis.
Hi, I'm Ashanta Wyatt. I live at 4167 Lac St. Pierre in Harvey, 70058. As the former principal of Edgar P. Harney, all I can tell you is I'm extremely disappointed. Not because I did anything but trust you to do your job. When you told me, Dr. Henderson Lewis, that you were going to revocate the charter, you and Amanda Aiken, when you were going to revocate the charter for Harney, you told me that you were going to do what you needed to do to ensure that my children had what they need. My kids are now in a worse position than they were when they were dealing with a man that was stealing all of their resources. They right now are without an ELA teacher. They have not one certified special ed personnel on the campus. They are without a nurse, and they are without a qualified school leader because he doesn't have any special ed certification or credentials, so he can't even deal with the most needed population. The suspension rate is out of control at the school that I was serving. And I want to bring this to your attention. I came here on December the 19th to sign the contract that you so graciously offered to me. And your HR director at the time, she said to me, she said, when I heard about your story, I thought you had been at Harney for years. But when I looked you up, I discovered that you had only been there a few months, and that concerned me. That's what you said to me. I don't know why it was concerning that a black woman could love black children, but that is what I did. I loved my children. And in the 2 months that I was there, books were poured into the school, not from you or not from South Hall, but because I begged my community to give my children what my kids needed. In 2 months, I produced everything that the PE department needed. In 2 months, everything that was after school, I made sure that they had. So I don't know why me being at my school in 2 months concerned anybody. In 2 months.
Ms. Begard ceded her time.
I think I've earned the right to speak. Can I speak? Yes, ma'am. In 2 months, there were several caps that were on my school when I took my seat on August the 24th. And you could attest to that, and so can Amanda Aiken, and so could Kelly Peterson, and so could every other person you sent into my school. I bust my behind to do my job. I did not lose my job because I did anything unethical or unprofessional. I lost my job because I condemned my board for stealing, and he fired me. And I was told not once, not twice, several times, that if he did something drastic, and this is a direct quote, then you would do something drastic. That is what I was told. And behind my back, y'all were conspiring to put somebody else in my seat. Because even when I signed my contract on December 19th, you had already hired somebody to run my school. And when I asked about it, I was lied to. The person told me, LaTorri Smith said, no, Dr. Wyatt, he's not there to run your school. He's there in the same capacity that I was. Because at the time when I was leading my school, LaTorri was in the building, so it didn't concern me to see somebody in the building. But then a letter was sent out to my parents addressing himself as the school leader. That's how I found out on social media. Okay. So imagine, I've done everything that you asked me to do. I was very respectful in doing it. But the moment that I lose patience, the moment that I am less than respectful, you authorize a rescinding of my job from a different state. You weren't even here. And what hurt me the most is before you were Dr. Henderson Lewis, you were my friend. And I could not believe that that happened to me because I called you that day, and I called Amanda too. I text you and I text her because I had questions, because I was just concerned. I didn't understand what was going on, and you did not answer, nor did you return my text messages. And then this young lady comes in and rescinds the offer that I had just signed on December the 19th. I worked exactly 1 day under OPSB. Now you tell me why, as a qualified, certified, black female school leader that did nothing wrong but love black children, that I'm unemployed for the last 3 months. Friend.
That's your time.
Okay, thank you.
Aretha Lewis.
You have any more speakers?
There's only one other speaker on this item, Aretha Lewis. Excuse me.
Okay. Do we have any other speakers?
Aretha Lewis is the last speaker. She's apparently ceding her time to Dr. Wyatt.
Okay.
Just be clear, Dr. Henderson Lewis, I didn't come here to be disrespectful, because even after what you allowed to happen to me, I still respect you, because I respect you because you're a black man in a very hard position. But you also put me in a very hard position, because as of today, I can't even feed my son. And I did nothing wrong. Let me tell you what else I did in 2 months. I created partnerships with the Institute of Women and Ethnic Studies. I created a partnership with Brothers at Peace, with Son of a Saint, with the Silverbacks, with the Children's Bureau, with Cohen High School, so my children can use their clinic. I brought Mr. Stanley Schofield into my school to talk to my male students who were giving the teachers a hard time. I brought Ms. Jade Collin, that's the lady that runs the McDonald's, the youngest black female to own and operate a McDonald's. I did that for my children. Let me tell you what else I was proud of tonight. I was proud that you honored Miss Carter. I respect her as well. I could only hope to get to a day where somebody can honor me for retiring from a job that I've worked my behind off to earn, only to be stabbed in the back by the very people that I entrusted to do the job that they told me that they would do. I don't hate any one of y'all, but I want you to understand what I'm saying. I wouldn't have ever did this to you, ever. And for everything that people say about you, it has never changed my opinion of you, because I'm going to still respect you, because you're a black man in a very tough position. But now I'm a black woman. On May the 11th, I'll be walking across the stage, because Xavier University only has one graduation. But as I stand here, I'm still Dr. Ashanta Wyatt. But even as I stand here and I'm awaiting my graduation, I'm qualified, certified, black, female, unemployed. My mortgage is 2 months past due. So when you go home tonight, I hope you think about the friendship that we used to have. Because you see, before this happened, if I text you, you'll text me back. That is how I know this was designed to happen. I did nothing wrong but ask this woman a question that I think I deserve questions to be answered. I've earned that right for somebody to tell me what's going on.
That's your time.
Okay.
And you allowed them.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have no other cards? Okay, this is a resolution, so it requires roll call. We do have a motion and a second, right?
Right.
That's
Roll
right.
call.
Roll call.
Okay.
Mr. Ashley? Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes?
Ms. Ellison?
Yes.
Mr. Cleben?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Noel Houston?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Action item 4.5, Resolution 05-19. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board adopt Resolution 05-19, authorizing the Fourth Amendment to the General Fund Budget of Revenues and Expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018, and ending June 30th, 2019.
So moved.
And waiving the reading of the
We have a
resolution.
motion and a second, waiving the reading. Cards?
Eric?
This resolution is allocating the $754,236.50 that was just approved, applying it to the new Harney budget.
We have one speaker, Kevin Griffin.
Got it. I know we're always accused of talking about things that are not actually on the agenda. But the work we are doing is for the betterment of children. That's our only agenda. So if that's the same thing that you have on your agenda, we would love to call you in and not call you out, because I think we're getting tired of calling you out, to work with you to better service these children. But another thing I would like for you to consider, to a point that Ms. Wanda made a few minutes ago, about children having to bear the burden for adult error when their only responsibility is to learn. I remind myself often, and forgive me if I get emotional, that I am a third generation reader on my father's side, because my grandfather was born on the Miller Plantation in Carthage, Mississippi in 1898. And I am proud to see that on the United States Census records, not only did he own the land that he farmed, but he was also able to read and write. So both my parents instilled in me the importance of education. And I only think it's fair that we afford this same opportunity to these children. And the reason I am so rich in family history on both sides of my family is because my parents constantly reminded me of who I am, whose I am, and my responsibility to people that look just like me and fight the same fight that I fight. So I implore every last one of you on this board to consider the legacy that you are leaving behind, because it's not enough for you to secure the future of your immediate families. It would be a more decent legacy. I think your grandchildren, Mr. Marshall, I don't need you to remind me the time, it's on the screen. Your grandchildren will be proud to know that you secured the education for 46,178 children.
Thank you. That's the only card.
Okay. We have a motion and a second, waiving the reading. Roll call.
Mr. Ashley?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Ellison?
Yes.
Mr. Kleben?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Noel Houston?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. 4.6.
Action item 4.6 is Resolution 06-19. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board adopts Resolution 06-19, authorizing the Sixth Amendment to the Capital Projects Budget of Revenue and Expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018, and ending June 30th, 2019.
Okay.
Move for Resolution 0619 and waive the reading of that resolution.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a second. We have any cards?
We have one, but Eric has comments.
Resolution 619 will allocate an additional $3 million of school facilities preservation funding to the already dedicated $5 million, so we will be ready should there be any emergencies at facilities.
We have one card, Lona Hankins.
So as you move to approve this budget, I want to remind you that you still need a plan for your facilities preservation fund.
True.
That plan should outline per year, per building, per component, the amount you need. And until you do that, you should not take that legislative agenda forward to take money out of the capital, the facility preservation, and put towards academics. The way that bill was originally authored was to retire the debt. At that time, the debt was $35 million, so that's how you got to the $35 million. It wasn't grounded in any science. No one did, or the study that was performed by Paul Flower and his team was put on the shelf, because it outlined, I don't remember the exact number, but it was far more than the debt. So until you guys do a real facilities plan, you should not touch that money. Looking at the data, Crocker, 2012, needed a new compressor. I don't know whose fault, whether or not it was a defect of a piece of equipment, whether or not it was the end of the life for that piece of equipment, but it needed to be replaced. How many other pieces and parts in these buildings that are aging out need to be replaced? And you have 33 buildings that don't meet ADA. ADA was passed in 1990. And I rarely make promises I can't keep. But if you touch this money before you do a complete study, this will be the first time that I actively campaign against a tax for children. because you have an obligation to the taxpayers throughout the country, because they're the ones who paid the FEMA dollars. It wasn't all local, and you need to take it back to the voters because the voters were the ones who voted to redirect the funds in the first place. So don't touch that money.
Thank you. That was the only comment.
Only comment, okay. Roll call?
Mr. Ashley?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Ellison? Yes. Mr. Kleben?
Yes.
Mr. Koppel?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Ms. Newell Houston?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Action item 4.7, it's recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve the recommended excess revenue distribution.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
There are no cards on this
No
item.
cards, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Action item 4.8, it's recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve the 2019-2020 employee calendar.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
And
Second.
Sorry,
You do have a second, okay.
there are no cards on this item
No
either.
cards, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. 4.9.
Action item 4.9, it is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve the temporary and substitute teacher salary schedule.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. May I have a motion to move into executive session? Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
We do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, board members, we want to reconvene. Do we need a motion to reconvene?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ashley?
Present.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Ellison?
Here.
Mr. Kleben?
Here.
Mr. Koppel? Mr. Marshall? Ms. Newell Houston?
Here.
Also present are Dr. Henderson Lewis Jr. and Sharonda Williams, Board Counsel. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. I yield to board counsel to read the items and recommendations of executive session.
The Orleans Parish School Board convened an executive session and discussed item 5.1 on the agenda, KDPR versus Orleans Parish School Board, H&G claim number 11983, workers' comp. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School approves the settlement of this matter as recommended by General Counsel.
Move to approve General Counsel's recommendation on matter 5.1.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposition? Hearing none? Motion carries.
The board also discussed item 5.2 on the agenda, prospective litigation regarding Crescent Leadership Academy closure. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School approves the board counsel's recommendation regarding next steps in this matter.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none? Motion carries. 5.3.
The board discussed 5.3, prospective litigation regarding Orleans Parish School Board's demand for withheld millage collections. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School approves the board counsel's recommendation regarding next steps in this matter.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none? Motion carries. 5.4.
The board discussed in the matter of Orleans Parish School Board and Louisiana Recovery School District, U.S. Civilian Board of Contract Appeals, CBCA 5457-FEMA, in executive session. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approves the board counsel's recommendation regarding next steps in this matter.
Move that we approve General Counsel's recommendation on action item 5.4.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion carries. 6.4, are there any further items for the agenda? If not, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So
We have a motion and a second. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, board.